We have more ridiculous brave weapons, and we're going to get into this. The Ninja Banner is always incredibly influential. Let's talk about what this one does and where this new duo ranks. First up, of course, we have to talk about Zelgius. Look at this unit. The art on these I always really enjoy. He's kind of in the samurai style, which is, to me, it kind of fits his character. You can see we get another source of assault troop, which is absolutely amazing. And then we get this weapon, Scarlet Spear. So we've got Sling, Brave, dual phase Brave. At start of combat, if unit's HP is greater than 25%, grants attack plus X. Get ready for the formulas for this one because they are plentiful. Okay. Grants attack plus X to unit, inflicts attack minus X on foe during combat. X equals 25% of foe's attack at start of combat minus 2. So minimum of 6, max of 16. For the most part, like when you're just getting a gross view of these and you're not digging into the details, it's usually best to just assume the maximum here. There are definitely things that can influence that, but just like as a first cut. And minus 16 to attack is pretty good. Plus 16 to attack is also pretty good. So we're already off to a good start. We've talked about how good reins are for tanks. We then have reduces damage from attacks by 30% during combat, excluding area effect specials, and restores 7 HP to unit after combat. So this is pretty good. We've talked about one of the biggest things for tanks in general is reins, and this unit has it. Lightless Luna is really good. Treats foes' defense res as if reduced by 80% when special triggers. If unit or foe's special is ready or triggered before or during this combat, reduces damage from foe's next attack by 40%. So you've got special-based damage reduction, and you've got basically Luna. So those two combine. This is an armored skill. It works the same way. So if a unit is attacking into you, as long as their special is going to proc, then this unit will proc the damage reduction there. So that's pretty good. Obviously, the thought here is a unit attacks in, special fighter triggers, Lightless Luna hits back. So this is a very good special. This is the upgrade we've been looking for him for a long time. This next thing is not so good. Distant DR Solo. Unit can counterattack regardless of foe's range. If unit is not adjacent to an ally, grants defense res plus 5 to unit during combat. I have nothing for this. This is so... I mean, yeah, that is just what every tank wants. Like, don't give me attack, don't give me speed, just defense and res solo. I don't even know what to say. We got Special Fighter 4, which we've seen and is very good. It has damage reduction in its own right. Reduces the effects of deep wounds because that is such a big part of the meta. And yeah, it's good. And then Assault Troop as well. Just a real quick note on his stats, and I'm not going to bother going through and digging them up. You guys are just going to have to take my word, or you can thumb through the thing yourself. We've got what is shown there is 49 HP, attack of 58, speed of 16, defense of 47, res of 42. So speed is obviously the dump stat here, which is not bad, like especially for a brave weapon user. The question you've got to ask yourself is, does this unit survive Claude? And I think the answer is no. The biggest thing that Claude gets is the damage reduction from deep wounds. And we'll see, but we've already got triangle disadvantage, which doesn't help here. And this unit doesn't have piercing, which is... There are two things that tanks really need right now because of the meta threats. If you think about the two big ones, you've got Hinoka and you've got Claude. So this unit will get smashed by Hinoka just because this unit can't retaliate back. With that speed, any unit with sweep is just going to absolutely crush this unit. And then we've got Claude. And I don't think without piercing that you really take down Claude. I could be wrong. Lightless Luna looks really good, but I still think that deep wounds is going to I don't think this unit can get through that. We'll do some testing. If we'll talk again if that is not the case. Be on the lookout for that though. That's the thing you want to know. Does this unit beat Claude? If the answer is yes, then we have a different thing to talk about. Let's go ahead and move on though. Very obviously a tank. I don't know. The assault troop thing, I really got this unit more as a Far Savior, but it is possible to use this unit as a Gale Force unit as well, and I think that could be interesting. Wandering Ninja. This is fascinating. So this is Heather, and I want you to see this. Now, dances. Gets another action. So we've got another Haether, essentially. And instead of all the things that Haether gives, you have no follow-up and exposure, but it's only in cardinal direction. So whereas Haether focused on buffing your unit, this unit focuses on debuffing the opponent. I will say, I guess except for no follow-up, but for the most part, this unit is all about the debuff. That's interesting. Now, if unit initiates combat, unit attacks twice. That's very good. At start of combat, if unit's HP is greater than 25%, you get Omni +5. If a rally assist is used by unit or targets unit, grants no follow-up to unit and target or targeting ally, and inflicts exposure on foes in cardinal direction of unit and target or targeting ally through the next action. If a rally assist skill is used by unit, grants another action to unit. So, yeah, that's very nice. We got rally attack speed because why not? We've got remote Sparrow, which we've seen is very good. Then we've got Speed Defense Ruse 4. Inflicts Speed Defense -4 on foe during combat. If a rally assist skill is used by unit or targets unit, inflicts Speed Defense -6, Guard, Discord, and Schism on foes in cardinal directions of unit and target through their next action. Okay, so you guys know what Guard is. You know what Discord is. Massive debuffs based on the bonuses that the units around them have. And Schism is this new thing. Neutralizes triangle attack, dual strike, and pathfinder effects active on unit through unit's next action. Unit is excluded from ally triangle attack and dual strike effects calculated using number of allies. When this status, Schism, is neutralized, triangle attack, dual strike, and pathfinder effects are also neutralized. So the way this is set up, this will definitely affect Aether raids if I'm reading this right. Understand these are very confusing things and are open to many, many misinterpretations, but if I'm reading this right, this should inflict Schism where even if triangle attack is after Schism, it should shut that down, which is huge for Catria Balls. Again, this is another thing we'll have to get into testing, and I'm very curious how exactly this goes. Off the top of my head, though, this is an absolute game changer in Aether raids. Let's talk about it in Summoner Duels. This is less good there. The big thing is, if you think about that range, think of all of your units with duo skills and the ones with a 3-row or column range. Think of how hard it is to line that up. Think about Mark versus Thor. Mark's skill is very hard to set up because you've got a narrower range, 3, and Thor's skill is very easy to set up because you've got a range of 5. This has a range of 2. That is not a lot. With the right setup, this is very good. But I can't say that this is, it is fun. It is going to be difficult to work this into a team, although not impossible. Think about putting this onto a hybrid support unit like Vale. Vale's already doing amazing things. And if you think about like a raid boss squad, having this on her and being able to ruse and then move from there is very, very good. But the other thing you have to pay attention to is this takes up an action. And anyone who plays Summoner Duels talks about action economy being king. The fact that you have to do something for this to go off is less powerful. So, is this good? Absolutely, this is good. This is not game breaking in Summoner Duels. We're going to have to see on Aetherite's defense. It is not a big deal because who uses triangle attack? Like that's not even a thing. Well, I say that Guard and Discord are a big thing. The Schism portion of this isn't huge. This is for rally traps and dancer traps. All of those, especially dancer traps. Think about how those have come back into the meta because of Freyr and the fact that you can't shut dancers down now. So this is definitely something that can come into play with the right setup. But I'm going on and on. And in the end, we're going to have to test this. But I think the biggest influence this is going to have is on Aetherite's offense. This is going to be a skill you want on a unit, definitely. I mean, debuffing speed is already very good. So maybe this brings Omni tanks back into the forefront. Again, we're going to have to test it. And I can't wait to do that. We're going to do that and see how this works. But I do believe this is going to be pretty powerful, which is, news to none of you. We've talked enough about that one. We'll be talking more, though. Okay, we have Heather smacking things. And then we have the Sanguine Shinobi. This unit has a good weapon. This is Reyna. This is another one that'll be nice to inherit to other folks. But, I mean, if you don't get her, what do you do with that? Chemo Yumi. This unit can move to a space adjacent to an ally within 2 spaces. Orders is nice. If unit initiates combat, unit attacks twice. Very nice. And at start of combat, if foe's HP is greater than 75%, you get an Omni +4 to unit during combat. So all of that's great. Glimmer, attack speed catch 3, speed defense rain 3. I don't care. I mean, this is okay. I like the weapon. If you got it, it's another fun thing that you can put on other units, and I think that's about the extent of it. It's fun. And here we go. I swear to God, the first glimpse of this, I thought this was Altina, and I was like, another dual Altina? But it's not. It's Sanaki. And I know you guys are really excited about Sanaki. I know there are tons of Sanaki fans out there. I've talked to you. So let's go over this weapon. So first off, we enable Kanto remaining, which is good. We've got Slaying, you've got Dual Phase Brave. If unit initiates combat or is within 2 spaces of an ally, inflicts attack res -6 on foe during combat and deals damage equal Y during combat, excluding area effect specials. And reduces the percentage-based damage reduction by Y times 4 during combat. Y equals highest penalties among target and foes within 2 spaces of target. So based on the number of penalties, and we've seen the way this works before, this is damage, not true damage. You get additional damage and you get damage piercing. So that's very good. We've seen how this works before. This is fantastic. If you can also proc Iceberg, that would really make this unit hit very hard. I mean, what can I say? Flared Mirror is our next Divine Vein Flame weapon, and it gives you attack +7, res +10, and we've seen how good this is. Like, this is an amazing skill. All of the Divine Vein Flames are very, very fun. They're very good. They're very powerful. We've got Sabotage AR, which is perfect for this unit. I think Sabotage is criminally underrated and a fantastic skill. And then we've got Defense Res Ploy 3. We've seen this before, but yeah, I mean, you get Ploy and exposure on your foes. How good is this unit? I'm going to save that one for the rankings, which we're going to talk about in just a second. Before we get to that, though, let's talk a little bit about calves and where they're at, because that is that is something that we've got to pay attention to. Now, this unit has 55 attack, 24 speed. We kind of expected that. 16 defense and 47 res. So high attack, high res. This unit hits twice because it's brave. You get damage piercing. You get flared mirror. You get damage enhancement from based on the number of penalties. All of this means this unit is going to hit really hard. This unit is going to hit harder on Far Saviors than it's going to hit on Omni Tanks, just because more units are around Far Saviors. How does this unit push the meta is the question. And I mean, we're going to talk about that. It's hard to be a Cav. It is tough to be a Cav right now because ever since Reinhardt, they really try to nerf Cavs. It's just the way it is. Let's look at this animation quick. Iceberg is going off. Oh, that's interesting. So they want this unit to attack in and then have it. Yeah, I don't know. I'm not sure that's the best way to go, but we get the duo skill is grants another action, which is great in arena and also good in hit and run strategies as long as you can take out the opposing duo or harmonic heroes or the tower there, the duo's hindrance. Yeah, I mean, this unit's hitting really hard. Did you expect any less? So did Leg Yarn, though. Leg Yarn still hits very hard. Just remember that. I really just want to get us to the tier list, though. And I don't have stats this time. I broke my spreadsheet. So it'll be back next time. Don't worry. It's not too bad. But
I'm begging you.
I just wanted to look at this. And the first thing, so the hard part with Zelgius is there are a number of different places you can use them. We talked about it a little bit, but Gale Force is really interesting for him. And I mean, he wouldn't be just the absolute best Gale Force user, but there are some interesting things. And hit and sit is kind of fun, being able to take out 2 units and then, yeah, just sitting there and taking the punishment, because this unit is going to be able to take a lot of punishment. Keep on the lookout for that strategy, especially with distant counter skills being more powerful because they give you more stuff now. It's very possible to have that happen. But I like this unit. As a Far Savior, I think tier 1, Brave is very good and is something that you can use. I am not just a huge fan of this unit in Summoner Duels. Like, the name of the game in Summoner Duels is Survival, and I'm not sure he's going to be able to take on that kind of punishment. If we're talking about defense, I think suddenly he becomes very interesting and could be able to take out some units that normally would give him trouble. So keep that in mind. He has a lot of good damage reduction. I think that might be his best place. If you're talking about offense, there are too many units that can give this guy trouble. I'm worried about Claude and I'm worried about Hanoka, and those are the 2 most common units in Aether Raid's defense right now, nuke-wise. I don't know that this unit gets there. I've still got this unit up higher than Hector and Anankos. I think this unit can have a lot of fun there. Anankos is still waiting for the attack speed scowl. I think once he gets that, he gets a bump. But until that happens, he's right where he's at. And Tiki and Corrin just hold steady. I think they are very good in their respective roles. I think they're great at what they do. Moving on to supports, and this one kind of hurt me. I wondered where to put this unit, and I wasn't sure. I'll be honest, I'm still wondering where to put this unit. There are probably some interesting use cases for her. Haether, for instance, showed her value past when we saw her. Like, everyone thought that she was just going to be absolutely horrible, showed up and was amazing. This unit I don't think is going to be the same. Right now, as far as supports goes, I think there are many other better supports that you'd rather have. The question is the combination of her being a nuke and support, does that help her? And I think the answer is no. I think the biggest thing you can do with her is fodder her off. If you're a big fan, though, just keep in mind that I think she is very usable and can be fun. For Reyna, summoners, this is tier 3 is probably generous. She's hard to merge. She doesn't have any sort of preference, anything. And I mean, her stat line is probably going to be good, but not great. So yeah, I try to give her the benefit of the doubt there, but she's pretty low there. Like she's not just amazing. Last but not least, ranged nukes. We've already talked about the two huge meta threats, and that is Claude and that is Hanoka, and these guys are phenomenal. I mean, what do you do with these? They're absolutely bonkers. She doesn't hit that. I don't think in mobility she has tough time, and I don't think she gets the same oomph. I mean, try her out. I could change my mind after watching her on defense, and we'll see how she does there. But even then, like I'm not just a huge fan. I think she'll struggle mightily in summoner duels, but that's more because of where she could go. And I mean, maybe you pair her up with Alencia and she warps around the map and just goes crazy, but I don't think so. The thing that gave Kagero such a big boost was the extra range you can get out of her. That's kind of incredible. This unit can do similar things, but the other thing that makes Kagero so powerful is Disarm Trap 4, which this unit cannot disarm traps. So it's going to be harder to run hit and run strategies with her as well. I still like the unit. Keep in mind, Tier 1 is very powerful, and I'm a huge fan of both Lysithea and Shamir, and I've got her ahead of those units. I just don't have her in meta tier. So I good units all the way around. I think this... I think Schism is probably the biggest thing we're going to see out of this banner. So if you are looking for skills to summon for, Schism is it. It's also nice because Schism is in green, and green is the easiest to get units off of. So keep that in mind. Summoners, let me know in the comments if you're summoning on this banner, and I hope the analysis helped. Thank you to members. You guys are amazing. If you'd like to support, you can become a member. Other than that, I just did a new thing with looking at builds for mythics for whatever the newest hero was. So we got Veil, and I did all of the Astra mythics. If you want to go check that out, it was a lot of fun to do, and I'm curious what you guys think. So let me know. Take care and schedule an appointment with your FEHology real soon.